All right, today what we're going to talk about is we're talking about subtracting fractions and mixed numbers, really. So you were probably going to be shocked to find out that subtracting mixed numbers isn't any different than adding mixed numbers, really, at least in this first lesson. We do have something later in the week that we need to talk about. We're going to throw a few wrenches into it that are going to change things, but for the most part, we got to follow the same couple of rules, okay? What we need to know is that you can't add or subtract mixed numbers without denominators. Fractions, mixed numbers, same thing. Denominators have to be the same if you're going to add and subtract. That's just the bottom line. And I know you guys are getting tired of hearing about this. It's like the third or fourth time I've said it, but that's how important it is. Secondly, only way to change a fraction is to multiply and divide. Okay? Really, and you're not even changing the fraction, you're just giving it different digits. You're making that equivalent fraction that you can use to work with your fraction or mixed number. The third thing, check for simplifying. Like usual, if it's not divisible by 2, 3, 5, 7, or 9, chances are it's in simplest form. There's going to be that weird one every now and then, like, 13 times 11, okay? Hopefully not where the grade level we're at, but it's going to be out there. Fourth thing, and this is the new thing, and this isn't necessarily one of Marriott's rules, but with what we're going to work on over the next couple days, this is something that I really want you to focus on and know. We spent some time talking about how the easiest way to turn a whole number into a fraction is just to put it over 1. But I also want you to realize that whole numbers contain fraction sets. Okay? For example, if I had 4 wholes, I can choose to look at 4 wholes as 4 wholes. But I can choose to see 3 wholes, and I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 4 pieces left over. I could write it as 3 and 4 over 4. Or I could choose just to look at this as the whole number and say, oh, that's 2 wholes. And then see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fourths. Okay, it's still 4 fourths, or excuse me, it's still 4 wholes, but I'm just rewriting the value a different way. 3, and there's a whole, so that's 4. 2, and there's 2 wholes. 8 fourths is 2 wholes, that's 4. I could do 1 and 12 fourths. 12 fourths is an improper fraction for 3, which 1 and 3 is 4. Or I could just put 16 over 4 and we know that's 4 wholes. So that would work too, okay? Like I said, this is going to be important moving forward, maybe not so much today, but I want you to start thinking about it now. If you need to, pause the video, go back through these fractions and really think about what I'm saying here. Is that all the fraction parts you need are already there in the whole number. I mean, it's a whole number. But today let's start small. Let's go with 6 2/3 minus 4 1/4. Now, the 3 things we're checking for, the 3 things we've been checking for. 1, our common denominator is the same. 2, if I do it to the bottom, I do it to the top, and vice versa, okay? You have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same value. And 3, is this in simplest form? Now, 6 2/3, 4 1/4, they have different denominators. Bam, first thing I got to do, give it a common denominator. I went with 12. Multiply the 3 by 4, 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3 over here because 4 times 3 is 12. That gives me 8 twelfths minus 3 twelfths. And you know what? Then it's just subtraction. What's 8 minus 3? 5 twelfths. 6 minus 4 is 2. And remember, and this isn't, I feel like I need to say it because I've seen it a couple times, you don't subtract denominators. You don't add denominators. It's just the box we're carrying the numbers in. Example 2. I got 9 7/10. Minus 6 3/8. It's been pretty straightforward so far. Check again. Rule number 1, common denominators. Nope, I got to make a common denominator. I'm going to choose, I could go with 80, but I'm not going to. I'm going to choose 40. I know they both go into 40. That means I have to multiply my fractions by 2 different numbers. 7/10 gets multiplied by 4 to make 28 40ths. While 3/5 gets multiplied by 5 to make 15 40ths. Okay? We have some students that are messing that part up. They will pick a common denominator that needs to be multiplied by 2 different factors, but then they'll choose the same one to multiply the numerators by and end up a little wrong. All right? Or a lot wrong, because math is all about precision. Now, 28 minus 15, that's just outside of that 10 that I want you to be able to mentally compute. Remember, if it's inside 10, I think you should be able to subtract at this point without having to do all the borrowing and all the regrouping. We should be practicing our skills so we can do that. This slide's just outside. 8 minus 5 is 3, 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay? So I have 13/40. 9 minus 6 is 3. I got to check to see if I'm simplifying. I know 13 is a prime number, which means I'm looking to see if 13 will go into 40. 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. 13 times 3, ooh, it's starting to get a little tough right there. 1 and 3, 3, 9. It's 39. How many of you guys do that in the air when you do your own math? You do it too? All right, so 13 times 3 is 39. It's not going to make it into 40, is it? So that is in simplest form. Again, in both these examples, we did the same three things we did with adding mixed numbers. We looked for a common denominator. Then we made sure that we made equivalent fractions by doing the same thing to the top and bottom. And then we checked for simplest form after we subtracted in this particular case. So what I want you to do tonight is I want you to try it. If you need to rewind the video and go back through it and watch it again, that's fine. Go right ahead. That's why we do this on video. I want you to try 24 and 7/8 minus 19 and 16/24. Number one, do they have a common denominator? B, I want you to go through and take 13 and 7/10, subtract it from 4 and 2/5. Again, do they have a common denominator? If not, that's where we start. C, this one looks big and scary because it's hundreds, but whole number subtraction's whole number subtraction, right? Once we get past the fraction part, it's not different from anything you did in 3rd or 4th grade. 209 and 17/20 minus 104 and 3/5. We'll check them tomorrow in class and we'll move on from there.